everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Maddie Lullaby and today I'm bringing you guys part 2 of my Instagram series. If you guys haven't seen part 1 yet, it was all about how to make Instagram work best for you when building a pet Instagram account. Feel free to have a little peruse and see if it's up your alley or not. But today we're going to be talking about photography. So part 2 is all about photography and I'm going to be getting you guys to use manual mode on your cameras. Now this may be a little bit scary for novice photographers or people who don't really know much about photography. More professional photographers probably know these tips already. I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips on how to take nice photos of your pets for Instagram. Okay, so this is my beefy camera here. You obviously don't have to have quite as professional level a camera as I do. Any camera works. Make sure you put it on manual mode. I'm not going to get super into like the technical. I'm just going to tell you guys exactly the types of settings you want to be using. So my first tip is shutter speed. Now you want quite a high shutter speed when you're taking a photo of any sort of animal really, because they move really quickly unless maybe you have a lizard or a snake or something really slow moving. I'll put up a little diagram on the side here that explains sort of the settings, how it affects your photos and the different sort of situations that you use it for. Now if you just Google like camera setting diagram, this image basically just comes up and it's so helpful. Very good for any like novice, even sort of intermediate photographer that hasn't quite like grasped all those settings and things in their head yet. From my knowledge, basically you always want your shutter speed to be above 60. Anything below that you're going to get a lot of shake in the camera. 60 is about the shutter speed that you need for handheld, otherwise you need like a tripod. This little diagram says that everything will be frozen on 1,000th of a second. So everything will be crisp, clear, no movement, very sharp. I think I generally have my shutter speed 250 and above. When Mia's like running around and stuff, I do get up to 500 and 1,000th of a second because yeah, that does catch her in the moment. It's very good. So yeah, shutter speed is your friend and you want it to be basically as high as possible depending on if your pet's walking, running, you need it really high. Walking or standing still, you don't need it as high, but they can also turn their heads really quickly, so you probably do want it kind of high regardless of if they're just sitting. I hope that's a good first tip for you guys. My next tip is depth of field, which is aperture or f-stop. They're basically both the same thing. So I've noticed on Instagram a lot of the really popular like photos and accounts are ones that have like a really nice depth of field. Now a depth of field is, if we refer to this image, the lower you go, the more blurry background you're gonna get. So to give you guys an example, the camera that I'm recording on right now, I have it set to 5.6. That's giving me a kind of blurry background, but you can kind of see the stuff that's behind me. I've seen some accounts that get down to a 1 f-stop, like a 1.4, and that basically gets rid of everything in the background. You're just like blurry and whatever is focusing on is like super crisp and then everything sort of fades away. Yeah, basically refer to the diagram again. But yeah, it's really blurry, really nice to look at. You don't have to get it that low. That's a very like sort of artsy kind of look and you'd be paying a lot of money for those kinds of lenses. So I think generally your camera lens, like a typical camera lens, will go down to 5.6. You might be lucky, you might go a bit lower. This camera that I use for most of Mia's account, I'm shooting on a 2.8 f-stop. So I try and go really low. It also is a bit hard when she's running around and stuff because if I don't get the exact like autofocus point of her face, then I'm completely missing her and she's a blur somewhere else and she's not in focus and the photo isn't always that great. Sometimes I post it to my account anyway because she's happy in the moment and it's still like a beautiful moment that I want to share on my Instagram. But yeah, that's something to note too. So having a nice depth of field looks stylish and I think it's kind of the photography trend at the moment. A 5.6 is pretty good actually because you'll generally get most of them in focus. You accidentally miss like the point of their eyes. A 5.6 is kind of forgiving. If you like accidentally focus on their nose or their paws or their shoulder or something, you'll still generally have the face in focus. The sharper you get, the lower you go, the more chance there is for you to slip out of focus. But yeah, like if you want to have nice sort of depth of field images, not too flat, go a lower f-stop. My tip number 3 is use autofocus. Cameras are so good nowadays. You don't really need to prove yourself by not using autofocus. Autofocus is just so good. So yeah, use autofocus. I don't know if all cameras do this, but I do a half press on the button and that finds my focal point, and then I do a full press to take the photo, which I've actually found a lot of people don't know that. Like if I'm out in public and I need someone to take a photo of me and I'm like, can you take this camera, like my camera? I'm like, can you take my camera and just take a photo of me? They generally just go like tick, 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 and they don't do the autofocus at all, and then like the half press, full press down. May not be something that you know, but hopefully you know now. Tip number 4 is to bring treats. Especially if you have a food obsessed pet. Most dogs are pretty food obsessed. If you have a cat, I would use one of their like toys that are really jingly and jingle it around to get their attention. For Mia, I have a treat, and I generally I'm like this with the camera. Oh, I'll have some like footage of me with her as well. So when I'm taking a photo of Mia and I'm using a treat, I'm generally holding up my camera like this, and I have a treat in my hand, and I try and like bring the treat over. Like if she's looking at me but she's kind of like looking like this, I'll bring the treat over so she'll follow her head around. Sometimes she gets distracted and she looks down or up or somewhere else, and then I just try and get her attention and bring her back to me. You can also have like a squeaky toy, or you can make funny noises. Oh, the amount of noises that come out of my mouth. But yeah, like that's just part of the process. You have to sometimes make some weird bird noises and stuff like I don't know what noises I make. But yeah, bring treats or something that you know is going to get your pet's attention. Tip number 5 is just to have fun. Your Instagram account could be more lifestyle, which is like, you know, everyday things. Like it's kind of more candid in a way. Candid means like if two people are talking and a photographer comes up and just takes a photo and they're still in the midst of talking, like they're candid, they're in the moment, they haven't noticed the photographer. Whereas like posed is like if the photographer went over to those same people and were like, oh, smile for the camera, and they like turned around and they smiled. That would be more posed imagery. Candid's more natural. I think most pet accounts are probably a little bit more posed, or a little bit of both actually, because you can obviously take your pet, if it's a dog for instance, to the park, have it run around, you can get a bunch of photos of it playing, and you can also have like that same dog like sitting down in a nice area and you have a treat and you're getting their attention and you're taking a photo. If you saw part 1, I showed you Boko Corgi. Boko was very black and white, monochrome, so they really think about like the placement of where they're gonna put their dog, like on a black carpet or some white floorboards. So yeah, you can get as creative as you like. I would definitely recommend like different angles, like get really close to your pet, get really far away, get little detail shots, maybe get their paws playing with their favorite toy, like just their paws and their favorite toy in one shot. Get them from behind, get them like above, maybe put them on like a little shelf, or you know, like if it's a cat, it's probably safer to put them like on a shelf because they'll be fine, they won't jump off. A dog, you put them on a steady table, maybe have a spotter and get below them and get like angles from above and maybe hold them up in the sky. I have a photo like that with Mia. Maybe I'll put it in. Really just like find your style. Photography is meant to be fun. Just try a bunch of different things. There's so many different walls that you can find, and you can put your pet in front of them or yourself if you're trying to build up your account as well. If you see a style you like and you want to like try and recreate that, go ahead. You can always say inspired by that person. Generally, I find that your style is so different to anyone else's anyway that it would just look like a completely new image. It's all about learning, really. Oh, another thing is that if you know your pet does something really cute and quirky and you want to like capture it and remember it and post it. For instance, what does Mia do? Okay, I thought of one. We put her outside in the morning, and instead of going to the bathroom, she's been in a crate for like 8 hours. You'd think she'd need a pee. She just sits there by the door. There's a little like slat where the windows are, and she sits there and she just looks at you and you can just see her eyes. Your pets, I'm sure, have funny things that they do like that you can easily capture in photos. Yeah, so just have lots of fun with it, guys. And if all these like settings and stuff at the beginning were really hard for you and you don't really get it still, just put your camera on auto. It doesn't matter, like I don't care. No one should make you feel bad for that if you're trying to get into the photography scene and you're shooting on auto. I shot on auto for years, and that actually just helped me practice my cropping, what I want to include in the photo, angles and stuff like that. It really helped me focus in on my style, and then I learnt the settings afterwards. But maybe find an auto setting that has a high shutter speed. That might be the way to go. Just before we end this video, I'm going to give you guys one more bonus tip, and that is try and be as simplistic simplistic as you can. Obviously you don't have to, like if your style is really like sort of cluttered but like organized mess in a way, like go for it, that's fine. But I find that a lot of Instagram accounts, like the ones that are really successful and have a lot of followers and are easy on the eye, easy to scroll through, they have a very simplistic theme. I would challenge you guys to find a white wall or some wooden floorboards, clean wooden floorboards, like move everything out of the way, just shoot on the floorboards or on the white wall. Like don't get anything else but that white wall, all those floorboards in the shot, or even go outside, only get like a parky grassy area in the shot, nothing else. Try and make it like a block color. That works really well for your theme. Yeah, it just looks really stylish. Yeah, so that's my challenge to you. Obviously you don't have to always do that. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that I mix up my theme a lot. Also those tips on that video are really good too, so make sure you check out part 1 if you haven't yet. But yeah, like I keep saying during this video and last video, it's all about having fun. Do what you like, find your theme, find your footing, just go for it. Like there's no point planning ahead and stuff, just do it. Like just do it. Oh god, that's a meme, isn't it? I hope these tips helped you guys. If you have any other tips, guys, leave them in the comments below. Maybe it'll help someone else out. This could be like a nice little community thing where we're all helping each other. Also guys, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe down below if you haven't. Please turn on my post notifications too so that you never miss a thing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!